evening and welcome to our Thursday, March 9, 2017 edition of the Government News Brief. In the news this evening, over 60% of infrastructure projects to begin before the end of March, the Low Carbon Development Strategy's national opt-in mechanism closer to finalization, and police officers in Bartica cementing partnership with residents. These and other stories when the news returns. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. I am Renetta LaFleur. Here are the details. The Minister of Public Infrastructure is confident that by the end of the first quarter, work will commence on more than 60% of infrastructural works in the hinterland and the coastland. Details in this Delon Sanko report.
Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson says that the early passage of the 2017 national budget is beneficial as it allows for early tendering for infrastructural projects. The minister notes that this will see more than 60% of the scheduled work being done by March 31st.
Some of our bridges and our roads are already out for tender, and some are going out today. Today, I think the ones in like Bartica and Mabaruma are out for bids today. So we do anticipate by the end of the first quarter, end 31st of March, about 60 to 70% of my projects would have already been tendered and the contracts awarded and work started.
Minister Patterson explains that though some of the infrastructural projects will have to go through consultation process, several tenders, including those for works on the east bank of the Demerara pedestrian and overhead bypass, have been already received. He adds that with the new equipment being obtained, the ministry will have more capacity to commence those works shortly.
I bought several equipments, as I reported last year. They're now in the country, which is new pavers, bitumen distribution plants, trucks, excavators, and the idea is obviously to have another totally new road crew within the ministry. Like there's one that does all the work that you're seeing now, there's one that is over in Canal Polers right now, and when the equipment come and have a third one.
Public Infrastructure Minister Ford explains that with new capacity, the ministry will also be able to address the backlogs of requests made.
We do have a schedule. I prefer to start from the East Coast coming in, because we have a crew working in Georgetown and I prefer to start some of the villages on the East Coast and then go on some of the areas in the East Bank. And these are primarily the main access roads for communities. I know all along I've been requests from as far as Berbice, which we can address.
Areas on the East Coast, including Melanie, Enmore, and Caldergen, and Diamond, Minister Patterson says, are among those scheduled for infrastructural works. Delon Sanko for the Government News Brief.
The national opt-in mechanism under Guyana's Low Carbon Development Strategy is closer to being finalized. More from Tiffany Rodius.
The national opt-in mechanism, currently being developed, acknowledges and demonstrates respect for the traditions, customs, and practices of the indigenous people. It also targets, among other things, sustainable use of forest resources. Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Sidney Allicock, says that the indigenous people are anxiously awaiting the finalization of the opt-in mechanism, a mechanism which he notes speaks directly to their rights.
The opt-in mechanism, when it is finally birthed, will open the way for the further exercise of the rights to self-determination by our indigenous peoples. Pregnant with opportunities for the sustainable development of indigenous peoples, villages, and communities, it will challenge our people to become authors of their own developmental agendas.
Minister Allicock was speaking at a seminar hosted by the Office of Climate Change yesterday. The event was aimed at engaging stakeholders on the development and finalization of the National Opt-in Mechanism package. Director of the Department of Environment, NDB Schweers, says that this initiative is in line with the government's green pathway for Guyana's sustainable development.
As we move to finalize this strategy, I think it should also have or take on a futuristic outlook. It should entail maybe one where communities are willing to support RED Plus activities, although they may not have forests on their lands. Some of these communities may, for example, derive livelihoods linked to adjoining forested lands. And those communities can, in my opinion, play a major role in protecting the resource and safeguarding it against potential infractions.
The opt-in mechanism is part of Guyana's Low Carbon Development Strategy, LCDS. The LCDS is a national strategy which seeks to create a low deforestation, low carbon, climate resilient economy with the major objective of transforming the economy while combating climate change, mainly through incentives to avoid deforestation. Guyana's partnership with the Kingdom of Norway, where a memorandum of understanding was signed in 2009, saw Norway committing to provide US $250 million. Payments earned under the MOU support a number of key projects, including Amerindian Development Fund. For the Government News Brief, Tiffany Rogers.
The police are working to build stronger relationships with the residents to prevent crime in the tongue of Bartica and surrounding communities. Isaiah Prophet tells us more.
The crime of rape is a serious challenge for Region 7, with 40 reported cases in Bartica last year. According to F Division Commander Ravindranath Budram, most of the cases involved are relative being the perpetrator. Commander Budram says that the police have begun to take steps by going to the various schools to conduct educational sessions with the students.
Most of these cases, you find a relative might have sex with a child, or been abused within the home, or by extended family or whatever. So we are trying now to tell them that this must not happen. If this happens, you need to report it to a teacher. Teachers will call the police and we could take some action.
This awareness is being done in collaboration with the Ministries of Indigenous Peoples Affairs and Social Cohesion. However, the commander said that last year, aside from the rape cases, Bartica did not record any serious crimes. This is reflected of the relationship the police have with members of the public after launching their policing program.
The team policing actually identify who is operating where and what they are responsible for. For example, if two persons cover the arcade, two police officers, they have to know all the persons there, interact with them, share the number. If they got a problem, they call them and so on. So that is one of the areas that we have focused heavily on, and this is to eliminate any case of robbery or any plan to commit any crime, because they will know, information will come.
The idea behind the program is to raise the level of confidence the public has in the police officers. This move will aid the intelligence-led policing efforts being made to prevent and solve crimes. Isaiah Prophet for the Government News Brief.
The Chinese Medical Brigade continues to fulfill its pledged support to improve healthcare in Guyana. Delicia Haynes has the details.
The Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, GPHC, today received a donation of more than $22 million worth of medical equipment and supplies from the 12th Chinese Medical Brigade. Consultant and head of the orthopedics unit, Dr. David Samaru, says that since China has been dispatching medical brigades to Guyana, there has been the need for continuous acquisition and upgrade of equipment and medical supplies.
From the year 2009, something new began to happen, and that is each group of Chinese doctors that came, or each batch of Chinese doctors that came, they began making donation to us of relevant instruments that we needed. In 2009, the first group, that group at that time, donated to us laparoscopic instrument, and they've actually opened up a laparoscopic center here at Georgetown Public Hospital.
GPHC's chairperson of the board of directors, Cassandra Alves, received the equipment and supplies on behalf of the corporation.
Throughout the history of diplomatic relations between Guyana and China, the Chinese government has continually and significantly contributed to public health in Guyana, whether through the donation of medical supplies, equipment, pharmaceuticals, or through the provision of medical services, as evidenced by the presence of the 12th Chinese Medical Brigade and its previous missions to Guyana.
Equipment handed over to the facility included instruments for ophthalmology, gynecology, ultrasound, orthopedics, anesthesia, and pathology. For the Government News Brief, Delicia Haynes.
The Guyana Civil Aviation Authority celebrated Women of Aviation Worldwide Week yesterday with the Pink Paper Plane Challenge. Zanil Williams has the details.
The Women of Aviation Worldwide Week, WOAW, is an annual global observance that takes place during the week of March 6th to 12th. The outreach part of the initiative is designed to spark aviation vocations within the female population and improve gender balance in the air and space industry. It is managed by the Institute of Women of Aviation Worldwide. On March 8th, persons worldwide gathered to make pink paper planes. Chitrani Hiralal, acting director of GCAA, explains the Pink Paper Planes initiative.
This is one of the international activities. It's called the Pink Paper Plane Challenge, whereby every year the International Women in Aviation Association, they promote this event at the particular time of the day. They want to see how many people, men and women, will get together to make as many pink paper planes as possible with the hope of entering into the Guinness Book of World Records.
Oftentimes, women are not given equal recognition. The GCAA would like to create awareness to give females more opportunities in the industry, says Paula McAdam, Aviation Safety Inspector within the GCAA. A cabin safety inspector, Fiona Bell, notes that her journey in the industry has been challenging, but she is happy that it is no longer a man's world.
The journey was not easy because you had men who said this is a man's world, and a lot of us proved them wrong, that it is not a man's world, it is also a women's world. And when we do it, most of us do it better than them. As we all know, the other day you had the Air India all-female crew, including the flight attendants, ground crew, air traffic control. Everybody was female, so it's no longer a man's world. And like I said, the journey was hard at the beginning, but once you stay focused, I should say, and put your mind to it, you could achieve anything.
Women of Aviation Worldwide Week activities have been organized in 40 countries on 5 continents. Zanil Williams reporting for the Government News Brief.
We have come to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GNews website. We encourage you to subscribe to our website and YouTube channel. You can also like and follow us on Facebook to be updated as the news unfolds. Remember to join again tomorrow for another edition of the Government News Brief. I am Renette Lafleur. Thank you for watching.